Thank you, Lily. Our next speaker is Arturo, MBA 2016. Arturo is from Spain, and his fun fact is once when he was a kid, he built a Lego city with the size of a room, but the city was destroyed by a cleaning lady who went Godzilla on it. Welcome.
Thank you. So I was actually aiming for a break to be able to get my thoughts, but I'll just go ahead. Can you guys hear me well? Okay. So this all starts with a phone call. My brother was in Madrid. He was in his second year of university, and he got a call from my mom. I was coming. I was going to be a boy. I was born to a family with a 20-year-old brother, 19-year-old sister, and 16-year-old brother. You could tell I was somewhat of a surprise. I came late. I like to say I brought joy to my family. I'm actually generation 1.5. And that helps explain a lot of things of what we are and what my family is. It helps explain why my sister started dating my brother-in-law before I was born. It explains why today I have 9 nieces and nephews. It explains why my eldest niece just turned 20 on Tuesday. And it also explains and provides perspective on the fact that my dad died when I was 6. I remember him pretty well. He would come pick me up from school. He would take me home, buy some candy on the way. He would actually have already recorded the Power Rangers on a VHS tape. And it was cool because he worked from home, so we got to hang out and I got to be with him. Now, on my first year of school, so again, 6-year-old, he got sick. And he had to go to the hospital. And I was not worried because, you know, when you are sick, you go to a doctor, you get better. That's the only way it goes, so it's all cool. This time, it did not go that way. And my mother, seeing that the inevitable was going to happen, sent me with my cousins for the summer, which I actually had a blast with them. And when everything was over, she came back to pick me up, took me to her room, looked at me in the eyes, and she said, "Arturo, Papa se va al cielo," which means that's gone to heaven. At that moment, everything clicked. I understood everything that had been going on for the past months. Because, you know, I was 6. You were not fully prepared to understand the world. And I understood it at that moment. Obviously, I started crying. And I also saw how my life had just changed. And people often ask me, how did you change? What type of different person are you because of this? My honest answer is, I just don't know. I don't know because I was so young that I cannot tell you what I would have been or what like the original Arturo would have become. And that's a question I asked myself. But that's just how it is. And I also had to adapt. You know, life changed. We went from being 3 at home to being just my mom and I. And things on a day-to-day basis changed as well. But what was actually difficult for me was the fact that I had to find a meaning to all of this. And you know, for those who know me, I'm a very logical guy. I like to reason my way through. I'm an engineer. When I was 6, I was also a very logical, tiny little guy. And I like to reason my way through. So I tried. I asked, you know, what's cancer? Can you live without a pancreas? I asked little kids questions, but I went deeper. I said, like, why? Why did this happen to me? Why do I get to be the only kid in this situation? And I just could not find an answer. Because the truth is that there wasn't one. But I kept digging, and that was something that was difficult for me. And in some situations, the frustration would come out. Because I could not find a meaning. I would go to church, and I would cry every single time. Because church meant heaven, and heaven was the place where I would, you know, connect with my dad. And that's just what it was. It was me, you know, expressing my frustration. And I would also make my brother cry. Because I would ask him, like, you need to explain this to me. Why? How come? I don't understand. And he just couldn't. And it took me some years until I understood that there was really no explanation to this. And that thought was liberating to me. Because sometimes life is just not okay. And a door shuts and no window opens. And you're left there. But that's just living. That's just what we go through. And this is not supposed to be, I apologize, a very sad story. I let one on. I bonded with my mom big time. I cannot actually describe it. The family grew big time as well. To the point that I don't know if I have one mother or four because my brothers stepped up. I don't know, we're 3 brothers or 12 because my nieces and nephews took on that role. And even though some of you may disagree, I think I turned out an okay individual. Until now. Actually, this summer something else happened. I got a different call, and it was a friend who told me that another friend had committed suicide. This was a pretty hard blow. His name was Ignacio. Really nice guy. He had this sweetest smile, most sincere smile you could think of, and he was able to make all of us nuts over a stupid discussion that had no reason. It was just a lot of fun. It was a big blow because we were a very tight group. And we hang out together. We knew each other very well. We also went for dinner every single Friday. We've been doing that for over 10 years. So you can imagine. And I thought I was ready for this. I thought that this time, grown up, you've gone through this, you know what this is about. Turns out I was not ready. I felt extremely guilty because I should have done something. I mean, what type of person would I be with my consulting, even though that may not be a very special job? With my MBA degree from MIT Sloan, if I was not able to rescue one of my very own friends. And I felt also very angry because this time it was not cancer, I was not 6, I was an adult. This time I felt like it was not life failing me, but me or I failing life. And that made me very, very angry. And I could see my friends going through the same frustration. I could see on the funeral, for example, it was all of us, honestly. One of them, a guy like this big, starts crying like a little baby. And in 1 minute, it's not him, but it's 15, 27-year-olds in suits crying and sobbing like a little baby. And that's just like overly powerful. You can't do anything. I felt like completely powerless. And for, I guess, the second time in my life, I understood that sometimes logic and reason just doesn't get you through. It just doesn't work. Put a little perspective to all of this, I can tell you that even though those events were very sad, or the last one was very sad, we are still a very, very tight group. And we hung out a lot. And we have committed ourselves to be very close because that's our way of remembering Ignacio. And looking forward, as most of you, I'm going to graduate from here in a few months, and that's going to be very sad as well. Most of you are going to be there, and if not, you'll be on Facebook, so it's cool. Obviously, my friend and my dad will not be there. But that is okay. They have taught me that sometimes life is not perfect, and I have to accept it. So my story, in a way, is the story of a little kid, and later on an adult, that has tried to understand all the big events in his life through reason and through his mind. And I can tell you, I have failed every single time. It just doesn't work like that. But what's even better, I can tell you that I have come to accept that that's the way it goes. Sometimes you can't do anything and you just need to accept it. And by accepting that idea, I've been able to be way happier and enjoy everything that has happened to me. So in a nutshell, don't be hard on yourselves, and please try to be happy. Thank you.